नमस्कार। आज की एमएसएमई की पाठशाला के इस एपिसोड में आपका स्वागत है। और दोस्तों, एमएसएमई की सबसे बड़ी जो समस्या है वो शायद ये है कि उनको वर्किंग कैपिटल की प्रॉब्लम रहती है और साथ में जो उनके इनवॉइसेस हैं उनका समय से पेमेंट नहीं हो पाता। आज इन्हीं सब चीज़ों को जानने के लिए मेरे साथ एक बहुत ही खास मेहमान हैं, श्री केतन गायकवाड़ जी। आप हैं मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर एंड सीईओ आरएक्सआईएल, जो एक ट्रेड प्लेटफ़ॉर्म है। दोस्तों, ये ट्रेड प्लेटफॉर्म एमएसएमईज की बहुत मदद कर रही है, लेकिन हम में से अधिकतर एमएसएमईज इस ट्रेड प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में या आरएक्सआईएल की जो एक्टिविटीज हैं, जो सपोर्ट है एमएसएमईज की, उनको अभी तक शायद पूरी तरह से नहीं जान पाए हैं। बात करते हैं श्री केतन गायकवाड़ जी से, और मैं आपका इंट्रोडक्शन अगर दूं तो मैं यही कह सकता हूं कि 30 ईयर्स से ज्यादा का बैंकिंग एक्सपीरियंस है केतन जी के पास। चाहे वो पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक हो यानी बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा हो या मल्टीनेशनल बैंक हो, बार्कलीज बैंक हो, स्टैंडर्ड चार्टर्ड बैंक हो, सभी तरह का एक्सपीरियंस एक ही अगर व्यक्तित्व में है तो वो है श्री केतन गायकवाड़ जी। केतन जी, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका आज इस हमारी एमएसएमई की पाठशाला।
थैंक यू सर। नमस्कार।
आपने समय निकाला, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। केतन जी, पहले तो मैं ये जानना चाहूंगा कि ये जो ट्रेड प्लेटफॉर्म है ये कैसे काम करता है और एमएसएमईज की कैसे मदद कर रहा है, और साथ में आप आरएक्सआईएल के बारे में भी हमें कुछ बताएं कि वो इस ट्रेड प्लेटफॉर्म का कैसे एक इम्पोर्टेंट पार्टनर है।
सर मैं इंग्लिश में बताऊं, चलेगा?
आप जैसे भी सर, आप कुछ हिंदी कुछ इंग्लिश में अगर बताना चाहें, या जैसे भी
हाँ।
आप कंफर्टेबल।
So just to start with, the receivables exchange of India. This is my company. So we manage the trades platform, which is the trade receivables electronic discounting system, and this is the platform which has been set up by RBI. So which is regulated by RBI. The government of India has come out with the instructions or the detailed guidelines on how to operate it. So this basically was issued, these guidelines were issued, or this platform came into the being because of the delayed payment issues. So to handle the delayed payment issues for the MSMEs, the trades platform has come into the play. So it's a digital platform, and it's a platform wherein all the participants are there. There are some three participants over there. So you have the sellers, which are the MSME sellers, which are you have the buyers, which are the large corporates, government departments, state government departments over there, and you have the financiers. These are the three platform, these are the three participants which need to get enrolled, registered on the platform, and they get registered as a one time registration. So we have to do the due diligence of all the participants, which is the sellers, buyers, and the financiers. And once they have got registered with the platform, then they get started. So the sellers get registered and the sellers get linked to the buyers, and then the seller can upload the invoices on the platform. So over the platform, what happens is, the normally the MSME seller is always, has to rely on the supplier buyer to make the payment to him. But here, once he has supplied the goods to the to the corporate, large corporate, or the bank, or or to the government departments, he can come on the platform, upload his invoices. The invoices need to be accepted by the buyer, and once they're accepted, they become a factoring unit, and the factoring unit, then it is getting discounted by the bank. So there is a boli लगाई जाती है वो invoices के ऊपर. So depending on the corporate buyers outstand standing in the market, or the credit rating of the corporate buyer, then the invoices get discounted at the rate which is most appropriate, or which is most competitive for the seller. So here, this is non-recourse financing, without recourse financing. So that means tomorrow, in case the bill is not paid by the buyer, the seller is not, does not has a, we do not have the recourse to the seller, but it has a recourse, complete recourse to the buyer. So this is a completely a without recourse program. So that means once you have discounted these bills, you can mark these bills as realized, and you can come on the platform, get it discounted, mark the bills as realized, and that is cash for you. So what you normally get after 45 days, if you get it discounted, you might get it on the 7th or 8th day itself.
Yeah. So it's very good support, in fact, to the MSMEs for discounting of their bills. And as you were referring to, at a very affordable rate also, they are perhaps able to get the finance and without recourse as well. Once the invoice is discounted, the lenders will not come to them if even if the payment is not made by the buyers. Sir, we have more than 6 crore MSMEs as on date. There are many buyers, uh, be it government department, PSUs, or the large corporates. Can we have some idea out of these 6 crore MSMEs, how many MSMEs might have been registered so far on this platform, and how many buyers have already been registered?
So I will talk about the Trades platform in general. So there are three platforms in India, so that has got the license from RBI. So as of now, I would say that around 1,40,000 crores has been discounted on the three platforms, and there are 45,000 MSMEs which have got registered on the Trades platform, and there are buyers. Buyers are around 3,000 plus buyers which have got registered.
So out of these 3,000 buyers, do we have some idea that how many of these buyers are actually trading on these platforms?
So I would say, see, normally क्या होता है कि these are all registered buyers. So when they are registered buyers, whether they transact is a different story. So as of now, 25 to 30% of the buyers do transact on the platform. So if I were to say among the 3,000 platform, buyers over there, we would have around 700 to 800 buyers which are active.
Okay, so lot need to be done. And
Not
uh,
increasing.
and do you have some idea how many more buyers are supposed to be registered, who are eligible to be registered, but those who have not yet registered themselves on this platform?
So as per the Bloomberg data, apparently some 11,200 buyers are eligible to get onboarded. So that means there are some 11,000 corporates which are there, which are above 500 crores turnover, and there are central PSUs which are around 255, and state government departments and enterprises around 1,000. So I would say around 11,200 to 11,300 eligible corporates are there which are supposed to get enrolled on the program or the registered on the platform. But as of now, only 3,400 have got onboarded. So that means around 3,000 corporates have got onboarded. Central PSUs are around 190, and the state government departments around 120 plus governments are there, entities are there.
So, what action the government or you, being one of the major stakeholder, are taking towards this endeavor, so that more and more buyers can register, can accept, and their bills can be discounted, and actual benefit of this state platform can be made available to these MSMEs.
So there is a whole lot of push. I can say that look, when we started 5 years back, where we were discounting around 250 crores per month, now we are doing 2,500 crores per month. Each platform is doing that much. So there is a whole lot of focus from the government side. Reserve Bank of India is also doing various education programs wherein they're inviting the bank officers on the platform, to come and understand exactly what is trades all about.
And sir, one question is that whether MSME can also register themselves as a buyer, means can it be transaction be small to small?
Yeah, so as of now, it see the how the trades platform works is completely on the buyer's credibility and the buyer's credit rating and other things. So currently, if there is an appetite, there is a risk appetite on the MSME who's buying from another MSME. If the bankers are willing to give the limits on that MSME, we are getting them enrolled. So we are already having the facility wherein some banks have deployed limits even for the smaller corporates. But that is one part. But to give a program, I would say to give it a program size, or to give it a more focus over there, we are working with SIDBI. The SIDBI is a parent organization, so we are working with them to see if SIDBI has come out with something called as FitRank along with Sibyl TransUnion and one plus one loans by 59 by 99 minutes or 59. So in that program, the cash flow analysis was done, in the sense the report is generated wherein a fit rank is generated over there, wherein the cash flow analysis is done for using this current account statement, the GSTN statement, and many other things are triangulated to getting the fit rank, and that fit rank also gives a probability of default for that particular buyer MSME buyer.
As you are referring to about the GST, so is there any possibility of integration of the GST platform with this trade platform, so that if any MSME upload any invoice on the GST platform, immediately it can go to the buyer, in fact, for their acceptance and then ultimately for the discounting?
Yeah, so this was actually there in the parliamentary committee report also, which came in 2021, whereas it was very clearly stated that there should be a talk about integration between the GSN and the trades platform. We are also working on the same concept over there, but now there is something called as account aggregator. So we are trying to see whether we can integrate with the through the account aggregator framework. So we are working with the MSME ministry. There is a project over there, RAM program, which is on, under which we are trying to see how the GSTN, or how trades can integrate to the GSTN platform to get the data invoices on the platform, either through direct integration or through the account aggregator framework. So when that is done, then there is a possibility of the invoices coming onto the trades platform, and then the MSMEs, there is no need for the MSMEs to upload those invoices, but there is an acceptance which is required from the buyer, and once that is done, then the invoices can come into the auction for the bankers to finance those invoices.
Okay. Sir, as you were referring to that, it's all discounting of the invoices depends on the credit worthiness of the buyers, in fact. So perhaps the government is coming up with a new partner on this platform, which are the insurance companies. So any take on that and how these insurance companies will be able to support the discounting of the bills, and what is the current scenario for these insurance companies to be part of this trade platform?
So the IRDA had given the sandbox approval for one insurance company to go ahead and do the sandbox testing for the invoices which are uploaded digitally on any platform. So then RXL did the sandbox testing in somewhere in 2020, September 2020, and we have done the sandbox testing, completing it. So the idea behind it is that there are low rated corporates which do not, with the banks, are shy away from giving the limits. So is there a possibility that the insurance company can study those corporates and come out with the coverage over there? So with that happening, we see that insurance platforms, insurance companies can come as a fourth participant in the platform, on the platform, and then we can see that the insurance companies can allocate their risk appetite over there, and once they have given that, then the bankers can take the insurance policy or the insurance cover for that particular corporate and go ahead with the discounting. So we see that this will be happening soon. The monetary policy in has been already announced, and it has been allowed to for the trade credit insurance to come on the trades platform. So we are waiting for the guidelines to come in from RBI. Once that is done, we'll go live with that particular product. But yes, it will not be something which will start immediately, but it will be on the test case basis where the insurance companies also would see. So even when we look at the factoring as such on the platform, when the banks set up the limit, they don't set up limits in one shot. They go in batch wise. What they do is, they see, when they give limits to a particular corporate, they see the full payment cycle. So that is what will happen. So over a period of time, we see that the increased participation from the insurance companies also will come into the play, and that will definitely help the financing on the trades platform. And that's a very positive move, I would say, that from the government as well as the RBI.
Yeah. And sir, as you were referring to about the setting up of the limit, in fact, do you have some uh, criteria on which on the basis of which these banks fix up the limits, in fact, based on your experience? And what is the forthcoming steps of the bankers, whether they are very positive, discounting of the invoices on this platform, or they are still shy of discounting of the bills, how they set up the limits for a particular buyer? Can you throw some light on those things, sir?
Yeah, so what happens is, it's a normal process. So whenever the corporate gets enrolled, what we do is, we take the CRISIL report, or we take the the ratings report, CRISIL or CARE or whatever, and we pass it on to the bankers over there. So the bankers have a set product approval from which they have taken from their from the board, So wherein up to certain particular corporate rating, they can go for that particular limits. So depending on the corporate grade, corporate limits, depending on the corporate rating, they go ahead and set up the limits for that particular corporate. But what we have seen is that the increasing participation from the bankers. The bankers are wholeheartedly supporting the program very clearly, wherein we see that a lot of banks, the PSUs are seeing more interest over there, because at the end of the day, there are two things which are happening over there. There is an easy acquisition of a business over there because they don't have to do much. They can easily set up a book of 500 to 600 crores just in a you know uh, uh, matter of month altogether, and they can set up a book with only 2 or 3 people over there. But they need to have the product guidelines in place. So that is one thing we see, and customer acquisition is very smooth for them, and that also helps them in acquiring other businesses. So once they see the payment cycle on the platform, let's say if they have started and this customer is completely new for that particular corporate, for that particular bank, if that corporate is completely new and they see the payment cycles are happening properly, then there is a possibility that they know that they chase the corporate separately also to set up limits and give them supplier financing business, supply chain business. That is one thing. But what we have seen is increasingly the banks are very focused towards setting up departments. So we have seen now different banks going aggressively and setting up different trades departments, trades in different zones. So one bank might have 5 or 6 trades sections all across India, so which they can focus on. So I know very well that this march is going to be very aggressive for many bankers who have set internal targets for themselves. So very clearly, and what is noteworthy to tell you that in the last 4 years, 1,40,000 crores has been discounted. And how much is the default which has happened on the TREDS platform over the 5 years? I don't think it will be more than 500 crores. And of those 500 crores, 320 crores pertain to one particular very large corporate which got embroiled into some particular dispute. But otherwise, 180 corporates, 180 crores is the default which has happened. 180 to 200 crores default which has happened, which is very minuscule as compared to any other NPA rates over there. So, so I would say out of 1,40,000 crores, if you have got a default of maybe 180 or 200 crores, it's very minuscule.
So ultimately, who approach the buyers, in fact, to get these bills accepted? Suppose I am an MSME and I upload a bill and they don't accept. Then whether I need to approach to these buyers, or you, being the platform, you approach the buyers to give their, because there was some discussion on deemed acceptance also. I don't know whether that has been implemented or not so far. But ultimately, who will approach to the buyer that, see, this is an invoice being uploaded by an MSME, which is your supplier, and you should accept this invoice. So who is going to approach the buyers for acceptance of the bill?
See, now it is very clear that when the corporate has got onboarded. So I'm not against corporate, but at least from the CPSC point of view, Department of Public Enterprises has come out with a circular which says very clearly that if the MSME is uploaded that invoice on the TREDS platform, it has to be accepted or it has to be rejected within 15 days. If it is rejected within 15 days, then they have to give a reason specifically why they have rejected it. So that is something which is a very important enabling notice which has come to the CPSCs also. So that means tomorrow they are accountable for whatever rejections they do, or if they don't do that, they have to accept it within 15 days. And the CPSCs also get marks for passing these invoices through the TREDS platform. So that means out of the 100 marks or something, 5 marks are allocated for doing the payments through TREDS. 2 marks are allocated for doing the procurement through GEMS. So you can understand the importance which the government is also giving for, especially for the TREDS platform.
Yeah, definitely. Sir, so I would like to understand in a very simple manner, as you are applying to us very transparently, that for an MSME, if they actually want to use the facility of these trade platform, what these MSMEs need to do? How will the process be to get them uploaded, get them registered on this platform, and get their bills discounted?
So two things: the MSME first of all should get registered on the Udyam portal, and then they should get registered on the TREDS portal also. Udyam portal is a must for us because we need to ensure that they have the Udyam number for that, and that's how they should get registered with us. At the same time, when the MSME gets registered to us with us, then they find out whether the buyer is registered already or not registered already. If the buyer is not registered, they can give us the contacts and we can get them, in touch with them to get themselves registered. So it is very important that the seller, even if he gets registered, it is important that the buyer should be registered on the TREDS platform, and the buyer should accept those invoices on the TREDS platform. So the process is that, I'll tell you how it goes. So
Yeah.
we actually get in touch with the corporate or the CPSCs and get them registered first, and then they give us the list of the suppliers who should get registered on the platform. But it can work the other way around also, where MSME also gets registered, and if he's a very key supplier to the corporate, then he will get it. He will get the corporate also registered, and he can get that discounted. But at the end of the day, look, it depends on the corporate also to come on the platform and do the discounting and do the acceptance.
And this registration process for the MSMEs is online, or they have to approach to any of your office for their registration?
No, they can sit in the office and they can provide all the documents online, and that's enough for us to get registered. So, if the MSME's got all the documents in one side, in one particular place, we can do the registration of the corporate of the MSME within 30 to 40 minutes, end to end, where he can sign the agreement also, onboarding agreement also, as fast as possible.
So one more question, sir. As you have three platform as on today, so if I have three, four buyers, and my one buyer may be on one platform, another will be on a second, and maybe the third maybe on the third platform. So should I register myself being an MSME on all the three platform, or there is any system that once the buyer is registered on one platform, any platform will be able for discounting of the bills of that particular buyer?
As of now, that facility is not available because you have to. But what the supplier can do is he can get registered on all the three platforms. I don't think the platforms are also charging exorbitantly for getting registered. So it's for certain platforms, it is some waiver is there, or we charge only the stamp paper charges over there, or sometimes the registration charges is just 2,500 or something. So that can be done and they can get registered in all the three platforms. But trust me, that 2,500 is still worth it if he's got his four buyers registered on all the three, four platforms, and he gets his bill discounted. Because look, what is important is what is the saving the corporate, the MSME is making after coming on the platform. What he gets after 45 days, if he starts getting it on the fourth or the fifth day after discounting, that itself is a cash amount, right? And that is discounted. That is the amount which has been given at a very discounted rate, or I would say which is a very less rate as compared to the OD facility which he'll be drawing on from his own working capital banker. So we have cases wherein the MSMEs do the discounting even for 3 to 4 days, because at the end of the day they don't want to go to the bank, to the corporate, or to the to reinitiate the process of payment. Here they will get the payment immediately and they can go and liquidate their OD facility or whatever, and still earn the arbitrage of whatever it is, a save interest cost.
So thank you very much, sir. You have explained everything very nicely. But just we would like to understand from you any suggestion for the MSMEs or for the buyers also for utilizing the facilities of these trade platforms.
See, it is very important that look, at this point of time, it is very important for each and every MSME to get registered on the TREDS platform when you have a corporate buyer on the other side, irrespective whether the buyer is registered or not, whether the buyer is registered or not registered, because the kind of traction which the government is doing over here, I am 100% sure that everyone will have to start transacting on the digital platform. So, and secondly, look, it actually gives the digital footprint that when you start doing the discounting electronically and you get the payment immediately, then it helps you in rather than going to your own bank and getting it done. If that facility is not there or whatever, and if you're getting it done over here on the platform over here, on the where it is, the rates of financing are much cheaper. I think it's a much better proposition over here. So my suggestion is the MSMEs, when they have the buyer on the other side, which is a corporate buyer, they should get registered now, because sooner or later the government is going to make it compulsory. At least if not to the corporates, they will make it mandatory also for the corporates. But at the same time, they will first make it mandatory for the CPSEs also, as a payment mechanism. For the corporates, it is very important because more and more corporates are coming on the platform. Because what we have seen is, when the corporates come on the platform, they enjoy the rate reduction. Because see, even if they know very well, everyone is into the business. So when they know that they are going to pay the MSME after 90 days, the MSME loads that finance cost also in the invoice. So when the corporates tell the MSME that, look, I am going to do the discounting, you're going to get the money in third day or a fourth day. So that's a win-win situation, not only for the corporate but also for the for the MSME also. MSME, because of the reduced rate, and he's getting the cash immediately, he does not have to do follow up. For the corporate, it can lead to the reduction in the cost of the procurement, and we have seen it very clearly where a lot of CFOs are very keen to see how this platform can grow. So the moment they start seeing the rate of interest, and the moment they say it's a digital platform, there are a lot of things which are happening. And eventually, look, what I also foresee is that, look, the bank discounting will stop over a period of time. Everything will move towards a digital platform. So everything will happen digitally. So you don't have to submit the documents physically to your bank to get it discounted, but you will have to just be sitting in the office, upload that invoice, and the finance due diligence will happen, and automatically the invoice due diligence will happen, and the invoice financing will happen, and you will get your money. So over a period of time, I see that the banks will be more, the corporates will be more focused on coming on a digital platform like Threads and getting the bills discounted.
सो थैंक यू वेरी मच केतन जी। आज बहुत ही अच्छे तरह से आपने शायद हम एमएसएमईज को ये बताया कि कैसे हम फ़ायदा ले सकते हैं ट्रेड प्लेटफॉर्म का। जिन इनवॉइसेस के लिए हम पेमेंट के लिए दर-दर शायद भटकते रहते हैं, कभी समाधान पर जाते हैं, कभी किसी कोर्ट में जाते हैं, कभी जो हमारे बायर्स हैं उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करते रहते हैं पेमेंट के लिए। अगर ये डिजिटल मोड हम अडॉप्ट कर लें, तो शायद इन सभी समस्याओं का अंत हमें और सॉल्यूशन हमें मिल जाएगा बहुत ही आराम से। दोस्तों, आप भी अगर इस RXIL ट्रेड प्लेटफॉर्म का फ़ायदा लेना चाहते हैं, तो मैं यहाँ लिंक दे रहा हूँ एक डिस्क्रिप्शन में इस वीडियो के। आप प्लीज़ यहाँ अपनी डिटेल हमें दीजिए और हम कोशिश करेंगे कि आपकी डिटेल हम RXIL तक भी भिजवा दें। आपके रजिस्ट्रेशन में वो भी आपकी मदद कर सकें और आपका जो इनवॉइस डिस्काउंटिंग की समस्या है या इनवॉइस के पेमेंट की समस्या है, वो शायद बहुत जल्द आपकी दूर हो सके। आज के लिए इतना ही। बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद केतन सर, आपका समय देने के लिए।
Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling.